Hello, hello, hello. Hello, everyone. Make sure you say your name in the chat, your English name, and say hello so I know you're here. We're going to take attendance. Alright, that is Elsa. Elsa is here. Hello, Elsa. Who else is here? We have Elsa. And who else? Who else is watching? We had 3 people on the stream. Sungu, hello. Hello. How are you guys doing? Oh, now it dropped down to only 2 people are watching. Alright, looks like it's just the 2 of you. For now. Usually people come late to class. I don't know why this class people come so late. But, alright. So remember, say hello on the chat when you join. Say hello so that I know that you're here. And then, let's start with the question today. I asked the other class, favorite food. Tell me, everyone, what is your favorite food? Okay. So while we're practice warming up, please write in a full sentence. Try to use a full sentence. Johnny is here too. Hello, Johnny. That's from a movie, isn't it? And that's here's Johnny. Who else? Now we have 5 people here. 5 people. Everybody say hi on the chat. Say hello. Say hello so I know you're here. Who else is here? Say hello. And then answer the question. Tell me what is your favorite food so I can think about it. I'm going to make a chart. I asked the other class. The other class was, what is this? Tteokbokki, chicken, pizza, pasta. Strangely enough. Try to use a full sentence. Try to use a full sentence to answer. For example, my favorite food is I love all of the vegetables. Good. Eat it every day of my life. Okay. So there's an example. That's my favorite. Who else is here? Say hello. I have to take attendance. I have to write down your name, right? I have to write down who is here. So if you are watching this, make sure you say hello. I see there are 4 people watching it, but only 3 people said hello. Make sure the rest of you say hello so I know that you are here. Say hello, say hello. Say hello, say hello. There are 5 people watching, but only 3 people said hello. You all need to say hello, so I know that you're here. Who else is here? Say hello. We're waiting. We are waiting. Say hello, say your name, so I know you're here. I have to take attendance. We can't start until I know you're here. Johnny, very nice sentence. My favorite food is chicken. Okay, no you don't have to say just say my favorite food is chicken. I like chicken is also good. You need a period. Okay. Elsa, Sungu, please answer the question. What is your favorite food? Everybody needs to answer the question and say hello. Why are there 5 people watching this video but only 3 people said hello? Where are my other 2 students? Who are you? Say hello. I have to check attendance. I have to write down who is here. Alright, Sungu. My favorite food is kimchi stew. Very nice answer. I love it too. Very good, very good. Elsa, what's your favorite food? This is a smaller class, so I don't think I can draw a graph. Elsa, let's answer so we can start class. Elsa's favorite food is salad. Really? That's interesting. I like salad too. Salad's delicious. Salad is good. Okay? Good, good, good. So we have 3 different answers. Alright? Thank you for making complete sentences. Nice. Complete sentences with a capital letter and a period. Okay? If you are watching this, you need to say hello. There are 5 people. 5 people are watching this stream. Only 3 students are saying something. It's really important that when I take attendance, I have to say that you're here. Okay? Alright, today we are going to be using your RT book. RT page 106, everybody. RT page 106. Alright, everyone. RT page 106. RT page 106. It looks like this. RT. And then we will start. Okay? So I know that you're here. Please say done, that you have your book. Okay? I want to make sure everybody has their book. Everybody's following along. So open up your book to page 106. And then we will start. Right, Johnny's on page 106. Who else is on page 106? Else is on page 106. Shingu, are you on page 106? Where's Peter, Brian, Suyon. Where are you guys? Alright, so you're on page 106. Alright, I'm going to switch your screen over so you can see. Page 106, we have this story here. This story here says Peng's plan. Peng's plan. Peng is a name. That's somebody's name who has a plan. Today we are talking about this idea of plot. Plot is the story, the action of the story, right? When we think about a story, we've talked about this before. There's a problem. We have a conflict. Conflict means problem. Then we have some action. And then we have what we call the resolution. Alright, Peter is here. Hello, Peter. A little bit late, we were waiting. Peter is here. Alright, everybody write this down. Everybody write this down, okay? Okay, everybody write this down. Conflict, action, and resolution. We are going to talk about this story's plot. Alright, Peter, please write that down also. You too. Anybody else here? There are 6 people watching this stream, but only 4 people said hello. That means 2 people have not said anything. The 2 of you, say hello. Who else is here? Okay, copy this down. Write this down. We're going to start. Alright, let's read. So while I'm reading, I want everybody else to read along too, okay? I want you to read with your real voice out loud. Follow me along, don't just listen to me read, okay? We're going to read together. So read with me. You ready? Peng's plan. Winter was almost over. At the Carver School, Miss Klein and her class were thinking of ways to make their old school look cheerful. Everyone agreed that the school looked kind of gloomy. "We could plant flowers in the schoolyard," said Peng. "We could earn money for the supplies by having a bake sale and doing a talent show." Alright. "We like Peng's plan," said everyone in the class. "Well then, let's get to work," said Miss Klein. In the next 2 months, the class held bake sales. In late March, the students held a big talent show with the rest of the school. Many people paid $2 for a ticket. By early April, the class had earned a lot of money. Miss Klein took them to a garden supply store to get supplies. 2 weeks later, the school looked beautiful. The class had worked hard to plant flowers all around the building. "Thank you," Principal Sanchez said to the class. "The school looks cheerful." Okay, so let's think about this. Let's think about this story. Let's think about the characters first, right? We like to use this thing. Why is it upside down? Upside down. Alright. Let's copy this one. Okay, everybody write this on. Alright. Everyone copy this on paper. Everyone copy this planning sheet on paper. Copy this down. I copy down this picture. This we call a graphic organizer. This helps us understand the story. Copy it down and then we will talk about the characters. Okay? Copy it down and then let's talk about characters. What is this? What is Poppy Puppy? Is that the name of a character? That's not the name of a character. Everybody answer this. Who are the characters in this class? Alright, we have Miss Klein is one character. Miss Klein is one character. Who else? Someone tell me some other characters. Who else is in this story? Alright, we have Pang is another character. Miss Klein and Pang. Are they the only ones in this school? Are they the only ones? It's just Miss Klein and Pang. One student, one teacher. Who else is in this story? Who else is in this story? Let me know. Who else is in this story? Miss Klein and Pang, and there's more. There's more. It's not just two people in the school. Not just two people in the school. Alright, we have Pang, Miss Klein's class, Miss Klein, her class, and Principal Sanchez. Very nice, Elsa, very nice. We would use, okay, the characters are Payne, comma, Miss Klein, comma, the class, comma, and Principal Sanchez. There's a Z at the end. Alright, so very nice. Very nice answer, Elsa. Good job. You got everyone in there. Alright. So let's write down the characters here. Let's write down the characters. Okay. Characters, we have Payne. Miss Klein. The class. And Principal. A. Principal Sanchez. Alright. So copy that down. After you copy that down, then tell me what is the setting of this story. What is the setting? Remember, setting is where and when, not just where. Where and when does this story happen? Teacher? Miss Klein is the teacher. Miss Klein is the teacher. This is the teacher. Miss Klein is the teacher. What is the setting of this story? Where and when does this story happen? Who can tell me? You have not this one? You have to draw it. I said that up here. I copy down this picture in your notebook or on paper. That's what I said. You have to copy this down. Copy this one down, our graphic organizer. Draw this on paper. Okay, you have to draw it. Alright, so the place of this story, Elsa sent us. What about when? When does the story happen? Okay, can we be more specific? What school? What's the name of the school? Does this story happen at E-Specialist? What's the name of the school? And when does it happen? So we have school. We want to be a little more specific, right? So first of all, we have our setting here, the school. The school. We have a name. We have the name of the school here. It is the Carver School. This is where? At the Carver School. We also have when. When does this story happen? What time of the year? Is it summer? When is it? When does this story happen? Can you tell me? When does this story happen? Who can tell me? Who can tell me? When does this story happen? Somebody please tell me. Alright, so we have where, right? We have where, the Carver School. But what about when? When does this story happen? Is it summer? Is it spring? What time is it? Right? When does this story happen? Anybody know? We have here, it starts, the winter was almost over. It starts at the end of winter and then takes some time. Then here we have early April. Okay, so we have the end of winter and the spring. Okay, end of winter and spring. So our setting is, let me switch colors. So our setting is this. We have the Carver School. And we have Alright, it's important to know the setting of a story so we can understand where and when the story happens. It's really important to the story, especially this story. In this story, it's really important that we know when the story happens. That is an important part of the story. The time of the year is important in this story. It's important that it is springtime. That is an important part of the story. Okay? So now we have to think about the story. We have our beginning, middle, and end. Let's go back to our story. Let's go back to our story and let's see here. Okay? Let's look again. Let's find what is the problem. We have our characters here. Miss Klein, her class, and Peng. What problem do they have? Let's read this. Winter was almost over. At the Carver School, Miss Klein and her class were thinking of ways to make their old school look cheerful. Everyone agreed that the school looked kind of gloomy. Gloomy means sad. Okay? So we have a problem in the beginning of this story. There's a problem here. What is the problem in this story? What problem is at Carver School? They have some problem. What is the problem? What is the problem at the Carver School? Who can tell me? It's this last sentence here. Everyone agreed the school looked kind of gloomy. The school looked sad. That's the problem here, right? The Carver School looked sad. How to make it look cheerful? Okay? That's the problem here. The problem is here. This is the problem here. The school looked sad. That's the big problem. That's just the only 4 words. Easy beginning of our story. The school looked sad. And then in the middle, we see what do they try to do to solve the problem. And then at the end, they solve the problem. What happens in the middle and the end? So, we have our problem. The school looked sad. Now let's read this middle part. Let me switch colors. Let me read the middle again. We could plant flowers in the schoolyard, said Ping. We could earn money for the supplies by having a bake sale and doing a talent show. We like Ping's plan, said everyone in the class. Well then, let's get to work, said Miss Klein. In the next 2 months, the class held bake sales. So let's understand here. Ping wants to plant flowers in the schoolyard. This is the land behind the school. We could earn money. We could get money for the supplies, for the things that we need. We could get money to buy the things we need by having a bake sale. Bake sale means selling cookies, right? Selling cookies and cakes for money and doing a talent show. Right? Having a bake sale and doing a talent show. This is how they could make money. A talent show is where people perform, people sing and dance, things like that. They need money to plant flowers. That's Ping's plan. We like Ping's plan, said everyone in the class. Well then, let's get to work, said Miss Klein. In the next 2 months, the class held 2 bake sales. In late March, the students held a big talent show with the rest of the school. Many people paid $2 for a ticket. By early April, the class had earned a lot of money. Miss Klein took them to a garden supply store to get supplies. Okay, so we have here middle. This is our middle of the story. This is where they are trying to solve the problem. So remember here, the problem is that the school looks sad. The school looks sad, so what do they want to do? How can they make the school look happy? They want the school to look happy. How? They want to plant flowers in the schoolyard. That's what they want to do. So they want to plant the flowers, but they need money. So how do they make money? They need to have bake sales and a talent show. Okay? So this is the middle of the story. They're trying to solve the problem. The school looks sad, so they decide to plant flowers and make money with a bake sale and a talent show. Okay. So let's write that down. Oops. Okay, so copy this down. This is the middle of the story. I know that everyone's following along. Please say done when you finish writing it down so I know. Otherwise I don't know. All you guys write it down and then say done. Peter's done. Sungu, Elsa, write it down and then say done. Alright, everyone copy that down. So now we have the end of the story. Now we have the end of the story. We know that this is the end here. Let's use blue. End of the story. Let me read it for you. Let's read together. 2 weeks later, The school looked beautiful. The class had worked hard to plant flowers all around the building. Thank you, Principal Sanchez said to the class. The school looks cheerful. All right. So here we have the end where they solve the problem. This is where they solve the problem. What happens in the end of the story? Okay. I want you to tell me now, what should I write here? What should I write here? Okay. What should I write here? So you guys tell me. What is the ending of the story? Johnny, I'm glad that it's not boring. Good. I'm glad. So, tell me, what is the ending of the story? How does this story end? What happens? The school looked sad, and so these students have a bake sale and a talent show to buy flower supplies. And then what happens in the end? The class is cheerful at the end. Yes, why are they cheerful at the end? Why are they cheerful at the end? That's true, but tell me why. Who can tell me? Tell me at the end. I want an answer from everybody. What happens at the end of this story? How does the story finish? Do they solve the problem? How do they solve the problem? What happens at the end of the story? Peter, you have to answer the question. The ending of the story is not high. You have to answer the question. How does the story end? Alright, they planted flowers all around the building, so there's flowers everywhere. So now the class is cheerful. Elsa and Singer, did you answer? Elsa, Singer? What should we write? How does the story end? What should we write? What is the end of the story here? End at the end. Chicken? Pizza? What? They planted chicken around the school? There's pizza in the school? I don't think that's what they said. What? Chicken pizza is? We have to understand this, right? The school looked beautiful with flowers all around the building, okay? So they fixed this problem. The school looked kind of sad, and now they fix it, right? They fixed the problem with the solution, right? So the school looked beautiful with flowers all around the building. Alright, copy that down. What are you doing in the chat, you all? What is this, Johnny? Chicken pizza is yummy. What is this, Peter? Wow, 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 wow. Peter, did you write this down? Copy it all down. Okay, make sure you write it all down. Peter, did you write it down? We got Johnny, Elsa, Sue wrote it down. Peter, you write it down too? Okay. So here, this is a very important practice, this sort of thing. Understanding the beginning, middle, and end of a story. This is important. We take the big story and we find what are the most important pieces. So if somebody asks you, please explain the story to me, you can tell them, paying Miss Klein's class, at the end of winter, the school looked sad. The students have a bake sale and a talent show to buy flower supplies. And then the school looked beautiful with flowers all around the building. This is the whole story, the most important pieces of the story, a good understanding of the story. Alright? So now it's 6:40, we'll have break time. Break time until 6:50. Okay, see you then.
알려주세요 할까요? 참석여부를 알려주세요. 등록해주세요. 등록해주세요. 왜냐면은 지금 영상이 우리가 열심히 들었거든요. is a 3.2, right? No.
So this one's still grade 2.
Grade 2, still grade 2.
The second hour grade 2. I was planning to just
So we have Elsa, Sungyeon, Johnny, and Peter here.
Sungu, not Sungu.
Sungu, okay. Alright.
There are 2 more people watching, but they didn't say hi. It said 6 people, but only 4 people said something.
Thank you.
Hello, everybody back. Hello. It's me. I'm back. We have 1 more hour together. We're going to keep doing some reading. We're going to be talking about our subject. Let me change this, okay? We're going to be doing some more reading and talking about English, of course. Let's see, Johnny's back, Sungu's back, Elsa's back. Peter, are you back? Where are you, Peter? Come say hello. Did everybody copy down this chart? Everybody copied this down. Everybody wrote this down. We understand this story really well. Huh? We understand this story well, everyone? Did everybody write done? Maybe that's what people had done for. Okay. Alright. So we are going to continue on to now for the second hour. We are going to continue on to another story. Okay. Everybody go to RT page 103. Everyone, please turn to RT page 113. Okay. 113. Right. Everybody go. RT page 113. It looks like this. Alright. RT 113. Are we ready? We're ready? Max and Ted. Alright, we have to understand this story. We're doing plot, remember? Plot is the story, understanding the problem, the action, just like before. Remember? Problem, action, and then resolution. Alright, problem, action, resolution. How are we doing there? Okay, so write that down. And then we're going to read this one time. And then we're going to try to understand the pieces of this story too. Alright? Let's read this. Now, while I am reading, I want you to read out loud also. Okay, I've said this before. Don't just listen to me read. I want you to read also. We should be reading together. Okay? Let's read it together. Max and Ted. Max and Ted were best friends. They played in the park together and went on long hikes. They talked about everything. There was one thing that made Ted and Max's friendship different, though. Max was Ted's dog. Max helped Ted with his homework and brought it to school when Ted left it at home. He even made sure Ted remembered to brush his teeth. There came a time, though, when Ted forgot what a good friend Max was. Ted got so busy with soccer that he didn't have time for Max. Max was lonely and unhappy. Max took off on a 2-week cruise. He had the time of his life, but he remembered to send a postcard to Ted. Ted had no idea where Max went. He searched everywhere. Then one day he got Max's postcard. It said, "Miss me yet? I'll see you soon. Your best buddy, Max." When Max came home, Ted hugged Max. Max wagged his tail. "Max," Ted cried, "I'm so glad you're back. How can I make it up to you?" "Don't worry about it," said Max. "Let me tell you about my trip." Alright, so we have some vocabulary we have to talk about here first, right? Let's talk about your vocabulary first. Let's make this a little bit smaller. 3. What color should we use for vocabulary? Let me ask you. No, alright. What color pen should I use? Okay. What color pen should I use? First one to answer, I'll use that color. Okay. You have to be paying attention and typing fast. What color should I use first? What color pen should I use? R. Does that mean red? I don't know what R means. R for raspberry colored? R for what? What does R mean? Blue. I already used blue. Okay, I'll use light blue. Light blue. There's a full answer. Let's talk about the vocabulary here. Okay? So, we know what hikes are. Hike is walking. Hikes is walking. They talked about everything. What other things here? I think you know these words. 2-week cruise. Cruise is a boat trip. He had the time of his life. When we say the time of his life, it means it was very fun. But he remembered to send a postcard to Ted. A postcard is like a letter. It's a one-page letter. It's just a picture and then you can write on it. Ted had no idea where Max went. He searched everywhere. He got Max's postcard. Max wagged his tail, which means shook. He shook the tail back and forth. How can I make it up to you? Okay? Make it up to you means like help somebody who you hurt, right? If you were mean to somebody, then you make it up, then you fix your friendship. Make it up to you, right? It's like fix your friendship. Oh, so messy. Alright, so, do we understand this story? Let's start with, just like last time, let's start with the characters. Who are the characters in this story? Okay. Also, draw this again on a new paper. Who are the characters in this story? Tell me the characters. Who are the characters in this story? Who are the characters in this story? Everybody tell me, who are the characters in this story? Copy down this page and tell me, who are the characters? Who are the characters? Alright, Johnny's got an answer. See, I want everybody to answer. That is our first answer. Max and Ted, right? Max and Ted are two characters. Okay. Next is the setting. Okay. Let's figure out where and when. Okay. What is the setting of this story? Who can tell me? We have a park. We have a park. What else? Does it all happen on the park? What are other places? Other places. 2 weeks? Or we have a 2-week cruise? But we don't know. We don't know what 2 weeks. We don't know what time. We don't know what time it is. A park is one place, but there's more than one place. What are the other places in this story? Someone tell me some other places in this story. Who can tell me? What are some other places in this story? Who can tell me? Alright, also at his home, there's another location. At their home, we have some things here, right? Brushing their teeth, things like that. Max came home, right? The park, we have the home, we have the school, right? We also have a cruise on the boat, okay? So we have lots of different settings here. It doesn't all happen in one place. Park, school, cruise, home, right? All different places. Alright. Also outside, yes, the park is outside. We're playing soccer outside. That's true, okay? Park, school, cruise, home. We don't know when. We don't know if it's summer or winter. We don't really know. It doesn't say, so we can't know. We just have the place. So now we have to think about the story's beginning and the story's, what color should I use? And the story's middle and the story's end. Okay. We have to think about the story's beginning, middle, and end. So, in the beginning of the story, what can we know? Someone tell me. What is the beginning of the story? Who can tell me? What's the important thing here in the beginning? What's the important part in the beginning of the story? Oh, Max and Ted are friends, do you mean? Max and his friend? Max and Ted are friends? Alright, so there we have part of the beginning. Max and Ted are friends. Okay. Max and Ted are friends. Okay, that's part of it. When we say the beginning of the story, we want to have a problem here. What is the problem in this story? What is the problem in this story? Who can tell me? What is the problem in this story? Question mark. We don't know what the problem is in this story, huh? It's kind of hard. Well, let's read it again together then. Alright, let's read this story again and try to find the problem. It's really important that we understand the problem here, right? So we have to read here again. Let's find the problem. Max and Ted were best friends. That's not a problem, that's a good thing. Let's find the problem. Max and Ted were best friends. They played in the park together and went on long hikes. They talked about everything. There was one thing that made Ted and Max's friendship different though. Max was Ted's dog. Max helped Ted with his homework and brought it to school when Ted left it at home. He even made sure Ted remembered to brush his teeth. There came a time, though, when Ted forgot what a good friend Max was. Ted got so busy with soccer that he didn't have time for Max. Max was lonely and unhappy. Alright, so here, they're all good things. Ted and Max are best friends. Good things. Max helps Ted. They're good friends. But then the problem is here. This is the problem. Okay? Here's our problem. They're good friends, and then there's a problem. Ted got so busy with soccer that he didn't have time for Max. Max was lonely and unhappy. Okay? Ted didn't have time for Max, and Max was lonely and unhappy. So we have to put that all together in the beginning. Okay? Right? This is all the beginning here. It's a long beginning of the story, right? It's a short middle, right? A long beginning of the story. So, we put it together. So let's put it together here. Oops. Use red. Let's put it all together here. I should have just, here. Ted and Max were best friends. We're in past tense. Ted. Past tense. Couldn't. Ted and Max were best friends, but Ted was so busy he couldn't play with Max. There's the beginning of our story. Copy it down. So I know that you wrote it down. Send done when you finish, okay? Write that down. Ted and Max were best friends, but Ted was so busy he couldn't play with Max. So sad. And then we'll get into the middle. Johnny says done done. 2 times done. Double done. Peter's done. So everybody write it down. When you finish, say done. Su's done. Elsa, when you're finished, say done. Elsa, are you finished writing? After you finish writing, send done. And then we'll move on to the middle. Next is the middle. Everybody try to think of what's the middle while we're waiting. Try to think what's the middle of the story. Elsa, did you write it down? Still writing? I can't tell if you're still writing or if you forgot to send done. Should we continue? Should we continue on? I don't know how long to wait. Alright, I'm gonna move on. We have to go on to the middle. Okay? We have to go into the middle here. Alright, so the middle is the action of the story. Let's try to understand the action of the story here. Max took off on a 2-week cruise. He had the time of his life. He had lots of fun. But he remembered to send a postcard to Ted. Ted had no idea where Max went. He searched everywhere. Then, one day, he got Max's postcard. It said, "Missed me yet? I'll see you soon. Your best buddy, Max." This here is the middle of the story. This is where the action is with their problem. What happened in the middle of the story? What happens here? Who can tell me? What's the important thing here? What happens in the middle of the story? Who can tell me what happens in the middle of the story? My M is very messy. I'm going to fix that. What happens in the middle of the story? What is BVBV? I think that's a mistake, Peter. What happens in this middle part of the story? What happens here? What does Max do? What does Ted do? What happens here? Who can tell me? Can anybody tell me? We're not sure? Who can tell me? Who can tell me? Do you need me to help you? Let's read this again. Max took off on a 2-week cruise, a 2-week boat trip. He had the time of his life. He had lots of fun, but he remembered to send a postcard to Ted. Ted had no idea where Max went. He searched everywhere. Then one day he got Max's postcard. It said, "Miss me yet? I'll see you soon. Your best buddy, Max." Alright, Sungu's got an answer for me. Sungu says Max took a 2-week cruise. Yes, that's a big part of this here. Max took a 2-week cruise. He went on a 2-week cruise. Right? And how does Ted feel when Max goes on a 2-week cruise, right? Ted had no idea, right? Max took off on a 2-week cruise and Ted didn't know, right? That's the big thing here. Max took off on a 2-week cruise and Ted had no idea. So Ted was probably scared and worried. Ted was scared. Where did he go? Where did Max go? Right? I was using mint. Oops. I use mint here. Okay. So we have mint here. So Max. Oh, it's hard to write with the mouse. Max took a 2-week cruise, but Ted didn't know. Okay, Max took a 2-week cruise, but Ted didn't know. Okay, when you write that, okay, so after you write that down, everybody write that down. Max took a 2-week cruise, but Ted didn't know. I'll give you another few seconds to write that down. I think you're all pretty fast at writing. Ready? Let's go to the next one. Then let's go to the end. So here, the end of the story then. End of the story here. Here we have the end. And do we solve the problem here? Do we solve the problem? Let me read it. Let's see. When Max came home, Ted hugged Max. Max wagged his tail. "Max," Ted cried, "I'm so glad you're back. How can I make it up to you? How can I fix our friendship? I'm so sorry." Right? That's what this means. Ted says, "I'm sorry." That's what "how can I make it up to you" means. "Don't worry about it," said Max. "Let me tell you about my trip." So, What is the important part here? What happens in the end of the story? Who can tell me what happens at the end of the story? Who can tell me what happens at the end of the story? Somebody tell me. What happens at the end of the story? What happens at the end of the story? Who can tell me? I'm waiting for an answer. What happens at the end of the story? Somebody tell me, how does this story end? How does this story end? Somebody tell me, somebody tell me. How does this story end? Somebody tell me, somebody tell me. How does the story end? How does the story end? Somebody please tell me. How does the story end? How does the story end? Alright, so Sue told us that, right? Max came home. Alright, Max came home. And does that solve our problem? Our problem is that Ted didn't have time for Max, so Max was lonely and unhappy. So we have to think about a solve the problem, right? This is what solved the problem, is that Ted was sorry. How can I make it up to you means sorry. So Max came home and Ted was sorry. Okay, so now they'll be friends again. That's why Max left. Max left because Max was sad. Ted wasn't playing with Max. You need to play with your dog. Otherwise your dog will be sad. Okay? So we have to be clear that when we write down the end of the story is how do we solve this problem? How can we solve this problem, right? Max comes home and then they become friends because Ted apologizes. So they're friends again. Okay? We have to be very clear about that. Alright, so Doesn't see. All right. After you copy that down, say done. After you write it, say done. We have the second story. You guys are doing a good job. Doing a good job understanding the plot of the story. Right, that's very important here. Understanding the plot of the story. Understanding the plot of the story. Alright, people are finishing. Good, good, good. Good, 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 good. Good job, good job. Okay, Samu, are you finished? When you're finished, say you're done. When you're finished, say you're done, so I know you're done. Alright, good. So you guys understand this whole story. Alright, so today, remember, we talked about stories. We talked about the plot of the stories. Remember that stories have a beginning, a middle, and an end. And you have to understand these different pieces so we can understand the whole story. We can understand what's important in the story. In this Max and Ted story, it's not so important that Max helped Ted brush his teeth. That's not important. But we don't know that until we find what is the problem, what is the important action, and then how does the problem get solved. And we have to do this. We have to understand the big ideas in the story, and it helps us understand the stories. Why does the author tell us the story? Who wrote this story and why? So we can understand what is important about this story, right? It's not important that what happened? Not important that they went on hikes. The hikes is not the important part. The important thing is that they're best friends, and then Ted got busy with soccer, and then Max was lonely and unhappy, right? That was the important part at the beginning. The important part at the beginning was that they're friends, and then Ted was too busy. So the important part of the middle is that then Max took the cruise, and Ted didn't know. Ted was so scared. And then Max came home, and then they're friends again, right? Because he apologized. Ted said sorry, right? And remember that also about our first story too. Our first story, I didn't write it down. Our first story about Peng's plan. Remember here at the beginning, the problem was that the school looked kind of sad. This was the first problem. And then the middle, they make a plan. They can plant flowers, and they find what can they do. They can have the bake sale and the talent show, right? To make the money to plant the flowers. And then in the end, we solve the problem. This is the important here, the important part. They solve the problem by planting flowers, and the school looked beautiful. The school used to look gloomy. Now the solution is they've planted the flowers, and the school looked pretty. Same thing here. The problem was Max was lonely and unhappy. Now at the end, now they're friends again, right? Wag the tail means he's happy, right? They're friends again, and Max is happy. Okay, do we have any questions here? The really important thing we worked on today, understanding stories. Okay, I think you guys did a good job. Keep working on your typing. If you practice your typing, then you can answer faster, and then I'll know what's happening. You can reply to me quicker, and then class will be easier. So good to practice typing. Practice your typing so you can type really fast. And then it will be easier, okay? We had some good answers from you all today. Everybody sent me a couple good answers. Right. So that's it for today. I hope you all have a good night. Stay safe, stay healthy, wash your hands, and drink a lot of water, also important. Okay? So have a good night. I hope you all have a good night. Good job today. Goodbye. 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 So many byes. Bye, 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 bye. Bye, everyone. Goodbye.